What's up, guys? It's cold, it's dark, I'm the Cholo. How's everybody doing? Today we are going to be jumping into the interview between Jupiter's sister and Linda Binda. This video is supposed to be out days ago. I fucked up the first iteration of it. I tried to redo it 2 days ago, and I fucked that one up. Tried to redo it again earlier today in the morning, and I got it halfway done, and in editing, I don't know where I messed up, but when I recorded it, I never got the audio, so it was just silence. Any of you guys out there know how to edit, hit me up. Feel free to throw me some comments, help me out, because I don't know. I'm brand new to it. I just don't get it, or I don't understand it very well yet. So, apologies for the delay. I want to do a quick shout out to... Fuck, I should have had this ready. I apologize. Raya Loves the Reef. I'm going to put your PFP and your name right there. Thank you for being in my comments. I know you're a fairly new subscriber, but you're always here, and I appreciate you so very much. Plus, you said my son was cute, so I appreciate that. He is cute. He looks just like me. Also, there's one other comment. Who was it? It was Unknown Homie. You want to know why I have my child listening to this? Brother, I don't. He was in that little 5-minute segment at the beginning of episode 5 where we did a shout out for the guy's anniversary. I don't know why you think he was with me the whole time recording it. I mean, they're very clearly shot at different times of the day, different days, in fact. I don't know why you think my son would be listening to this. I don't know why you think a kid would give a fuck about this. But regardless, I appreciate your concern. I shouldn't have been a dickhead, so anytime someone's showing concern for a child, just for the well-being, man, good for you. That's good that you said something, because it could have been something goofy, but it wasn't, so appreciate your concern, man. No disrespect to you. So yeah, shouts out to Raya Loves the Reef, and to the Unknown Homie. My son's not in here listening to this shit, so we're good. My last video, I talked a little bit about my trauma. In this video, I'm going to share a little bit here in the beginning, but then I'm going to shut the fuck up and just let the interview play out. We're going to watch it together. I'm not really going to interrupt a whole lot. I think when someone's sharing about their experiences and their traumas, we should shut the fuck up and listen. Give them a little bit of respect. Not try to invalidate the things they went through. I think my beatings were valid. I think the outcome in my life that they had on me are fucking valid. I don't think there's a whole lot of you guys that were drug addicts at 15. By drug addicts, I don't mean smoking some weed, drinking. I mean injecting crystal meth into your arm, or being a fall down drunk at age 18, or OxyContin addict at 19, or Dibutylin addict at 24. I don't know if you guys remember 2015, 16, and 17 when bath salts were very, very popular. Dibutylin it's a bath salt, but they're not all just bath salts. It's like saying weed, or calling weed, cocaine, and meth. It's like calling everything drugs, when drugs is just a very broad term. Bath salts is also a very broad term. Dibutylin is basically a third cocaine metabolites, a third amphetamine metabolites, and a third of dissociatives. That's my favorite. And those are always my favorite. Throughout all my drug abuse, Dibutylin was that was my favorite. Loved it. And cocaine. Loved cocaine. A lot of fun. That one didn't really take me on the ride that all the others did, but boy, can I show you guys how to burn up an ounce. Learned how to make crack relatively quick through a friend. And again, every one of those drugs I did, I had tried them all, or all the ones that you could smoke. I tried to smoke them, snorted some of them, but my preference, right there. I mean, that's not my favorite vein. My favorite vein was right in here when I could get it, or a lot of times right here's a good one. You have good ones right here on the side. On the thumb here, you got good ones. Forearms right here in the forehead of this ex-girlfriend right here, there's a really good vein right there. I loved them. I love doing it. It it would take away. When I think about my trauma, I think of I was age 7, age 8, age 9, and then there's just a black block until I'm 14, and then it picks up again. And then ages like 10 through 13, though, it's like a block right here, just a black block of time. I know very specific incidents happened. I can very vividly remember the things that happened to me. But when I remember them as just a black block of time, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't make me upset. Not that it does anymore anyways. What made me upset was thinking, what if my son what if history repeats itself? And I can't let that happen. And now, when I see my son, when I take him to school, he's in kindergarten, he's 6 years old. He's so fucking smart. And I see him on the playground, because I volunteer in his classroom 2 to 3 days a week, just trying to be a good person. You know, I help the teacher wrangle up kids for recess. I help pass out snacks. I help the kids learn to read if they struggle or whatever. And I just enjoy doing it. I think, if you have an opportunity to be a part of your child's education. My parents were always working full time, so never got that so much. My mom would be around when she could. She worked at a school for kids with special needs, so when she could be around, she was. But my point is that I was so worried that history was going to repeat itself. And I remember what it was like for me the first time. I was a scared little boy. And he's still here. He's right there. He's right here. That scared little boy didn't go away. And I just wondered, was my son going to be that same scared little boy? But he's not. When I see him at school, he runs around and plays with all his little buddies. He chases little girls at recess. They chase him. He's just so fucking normal. And that means the world to me. My experience was not normal. I apologize, I'm getting a little choked up. I don't mean to come across as being a fucking crybaby right here. But it hits hard for me. Anyways, that scared little boy, it happened to him the first time. But now, like I said, that scared little boy is still here. He's still here with me. Only this time, he's got this motherfucker out here to protect him. That shit won't go down so smooth this time. I have a lot of thoughts where I wish I could run into those that... I wish I could run into the people that did what they did to me. Like I said, that shit wouldn't go down the same way. Outnumbered or not, wouldn't fucking matter. Ain't going down like that again. You motherfuckers know who you were. You're not watching these videos, and that's fine. One day, though. One day. Sorry, everybody, for getting a little deep there. Maybe I should just shut the fuck up here. I appreciate all you guys' positive comments for me sharing last time, so I thought it only fair that I'd be a little more open and share some more this time. Give you guys some of my truths. Because without all that abuse, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be the motherfucker that I am. I wouldn't have the pain tolerance that I do. I wouldn't know that I could lay on a table and get my head slammed with the needle for 22 and a half hours while I lay there. I didn't know I could sleep through a full throat tattoo. I didn't know that I could lay there and watch a movie through getting the upper area of my armpit tattooed in here. I mean, Do the average person just lay there and just giggle through that? Because I laughed at this part right here. I don't know why, but I did. Um, I wasn't enjoying my ribs being tattooed. That was 16 hours of a pain in the ass, but it's done. Anyways, I'll cut that off right there. Done talking about me. Maybe I'll do, if you guys want to, maybe we can do a video where I just give you the full backstory. I'll go deep. I'll talk about as much of the abuse as I can, or as much of the abuse as I can get out without breaking down. Because I never talked about it. My wife knows about it, but every time I start telling her incidences, she starts crying and gets upset. Wondering why no adult noticed. Nobody saw what was happening to me. Nobody saw me hiding in a bathroom stall for 8 hours. No one noticed. That's okay. Because I fucking made it. I survived. And everyone that didn't see me, didn't help, didn't notice, fuck you. Fuck every one of you. I had bruises. I had cuts all over me. And I'm still fucking standing. Stronger than ever. Ain't a motherfucker out there that can break me down. Nope. Fuck, that shit's hard to say. If you guys are still watching, I appreciate you. I'm going to cut that here, and I'm going to go ahead and watch the interview with Jupiter's sister with you guys. We're going to do the face cam. I'm going to do very little interruptions with it, just because she's going to share her trauma, so I feel like we should be attentive, give her the respect that's due. It's only polite. And, yeah, maybe when towards the later part of the video, when Linda Binda brings the topics out that are a little bit lighter in subject matter, we'll crack a few jokes, of course, as we do. Jupiter's fat titties. But until then, we're going to give Jupiter's sister our full attention and respect, so let's jump into that, guys. Again, thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
Hey guys, it's me, Linda, and I'm here with one of Jupiter's sisters. Her name is Kia. I just want to make a safe space where she feels comfortable, and I hope that you guys will take what she says, and if you're going through the things that she went through, really hope you can learn from her story and maybe grow from her story. I think it's very inspiring. So this is Kia. She's really sweet. I really love talking to her. We've become friends, and I just want to ask her some of your guys' questions today. And we're going to get to know more about Kia. So there's about like a 1 year age difference, right? Yeah. So that means you guys went to like the same schools and the same like grades, right?
Yeah, so with the cutoff for my specific school, I missed it by a month. Otherwise, we would have been in the same grade.
So, kind of explain like your childhood with Corbin, and explain if there was a turning point where you noticed changes in his behavior.
I mean, we had like a fairly okay childhood. I mean, yes, him and I have some sexual abuse trauma. We have very similar trauma. I have a little bit more than he does. Our brother, Junior, or Shane.
I know I'm not supposed to be pausing this very much, jumping in a whole lot, but he's a pedophile. If anybody knows where he's at, currently locked up, anybody knows anybody in that pen, write him a letter. Let him know what's up. Someone needs to be taken care of. Needs to be given everything that he deserves. If y'all catch my drift.
As most people know him, he wasn't a very good brother, so to speak. But that happened, I think I was 3 and Corbin was 4, and that kind of went on until we were 9 and 10. So, for the most part, we did normal things. He was into more video games, and where I was more athletic. I liked sports. So I mean, like, other than home, we didn't hang out a lot. I mean, there was a point in time when we were like little, where we were like best friends. I have pictures of us like constantly being together.
Is there like a certain age that things started to get, a little weird between you two?
When I was kind of preteen, teenage years, I started noticing a lot of favoritism between my mom's relationship with me and my sisters to her relationship with her and Corbin. I know that she did spoil him a lot, and she was called out on it a lot growing up by our oldest siblings, the oldest ones being 23 and 20 years older than I am. So, I mean, she would get called out on it. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm not treating anyone any differently," but it was very obvious she was.
So what I learned is, you and Corbin have a lot of siblings, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so the three of you were adopted from the same family, and so you three were, raised together in this house with a few other siblings, right?
With Jupiter and me and Junior, we have two siblings that came from the same family. So we were adopted as a unit of 5 into a family of 5. The oldest was 18 when we entered the home.
So basically how it was, you were the youngest, and then it was Jupiter, and then it was Junior. So when you and Jupiter were growing up, because you were similarly in a similar age range, you mentioned that you were sexually, abused.
Mm-hmm.
Was that by your older brother, Junior?
Yes, that was by Junior.
And that's the one that's in jail right now for...
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
I just want to say to everybody watching that, I think that you are a very strong person. I've heard a lot about what you've been through, and you're writing a book about all your experiences with the family. Let's get into how you were treated by the rest of your family members. So you had a great relationship with Jupiter when you were younger, and then when things started escalating, you were, cast aside, right?
I mean, I had a good relationship for the most part with all of my siblings. There was a turning point, I guess I was 10, maybe 11 years old, where my mom did favor him a lot more, and I was noticing it. I also noticed my dad didn't favor him, and it would make my mom angry. But for the most part, my siblings, they tried to treat us all fairly. I quarreled with them, as siblings do. Corbin's kind of always had anger issues ever since we were really tiny.
I didn't mean to interrupt this video. I've been sick the past few days, hanging out at kindergarten class. Happens. So if you guys hear me breathing kind of loud, it's because I'm stuffed up, and yeah. So I apologize. I just realized that I can hear myself going. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be reasonable. Trying to be reasonably quiet.
Started getting worse and worse because mom would say things like, "He's autistic, he doesn't know what he's doing," but then I'm sure that everyone can very well tell he does indeed know what he's doing. I would be sitting on the complete opposite side of the room, coloring a game, and he'd walk over and he'd throw whatever remote he had in his hands at my head. And I would tell my mom, and my mom would call him into her office. She would scold him, and then nothing would happen.
She need to beat
So basically, he was coddled his whole life by his mom, and
oh yeah,
that made a huge impact on the person who he is today. What you said about his mom's excuse about he's autistic, he doesn't know better. He has used that to this day to defend his actions.
Oh, I know. It's a big reason why I don't talk to my family but once in a blue moon, and it's also a big reason why I kind of left my family.
Yeah.
Because of the coddlement of my brother.
Someone asked, what was life before Jupiter was, they said, weird? Was it peaceful? Was it calm before he started being favorited? Before he started being coddled? Was there ever a before, or was he always coddled like that?
I want to say he's always been coddled like that. My siblings have always told me that he's always been coddled. I didn't see it personally until we were later on in our years.
One weird thing I've noticed is that when somebody's had a life kind of like Jupiter's, where he's coddled and just treated like a baby, look at their body. You can see how soft and mushy and like Play-Doh it looks like, just because it's never been through any hardships. There's no muscle, there's no scars, there's no healing. Never really been in the shit. If you guys want to see a cool scar, where is it at? It's not really showing up on camera, but it runs right there. Yeah, right. I don't know how long that is, but something like that. That's a fucking scar. Just saying most of us have scars or something. Like, it's just weird that he looks so soft and plain.
Like 9, 10. There was a lot of times where we would hang out, we would go do normal kid stuff. Like, I have videos when we were kids, like home videos. There's good memories. There's like, he was a normal kid. We were really creative, really funny kids.
And I can tell it's hard for you to put those in the past because that's not the person he is today. It might still be somewhere inside of him, but all the good memories that you remember have been tarnished by the things he did after that. It's kind of like he just flipped a switch. It sounds like good memories that you had with him, and it's so sad that that person that he was when he was younger isn't the person he is today.
He's not as fun now. Let's just say that.
No shit.
He's not as fun.
He's kind of a jerk now.
I kind of wanted to get into some of the questions that I have. He's, I've talked with him a bunch online on FaceTime and things like that, and he's mentioned a few things about his family. There were a lot of times where we would start like flirting or talking, kind of sexually a little bit, and the next thing he would bring up is his sisters. And a lot of my viewers found that really weird, that a lot of times when he would start flirting, he would bring up his sisters. Like, one time he said, my sister got stuck in the dryer, and one of his sisters says, thanks for not effing me. So he brought up weird things with his sisters, and people just thought that was weird.
Well, I can just clear that up and say that none of that happened. Aside from Junior and what happened with Junior, nothing else sexual happened between us. Other than when he got older and when I got older and started developing more, like reaching our puberty stages, then he would attempt to like rope me or my sisters. It got so bad where I actually had to get my dad involved, because I would tell my mom and she'd be like, he just doesn't know what he's doing.
I fucking hate that excuse.
You just gotta repeat. And so I finally ended up telling my dad, and my dad said, well, if he does it, just go ahead and smack him. So I did. Never touched me like that again.
So your mom was pretty much on the Corbin train, and your dad was, rooting for all of his daughters and sons. So it's pretty sad to see that, you were never treated equally by your mother. You said that he started to touch you inappropriately in places that, a brother should not touch you. Was that happening often before you slapped him?
It happened really frequently. I can't pinpoint like how often. I just know that it happened often enough where I was having like bruises of different colors on my body from him.
Was he playful about it, or was he like deviant about it?
It would start out as he wanted like a hug or something. Eventually I just stopped giving him.
I've always hated those fucking guys in high school when they see a girl walk up, where's my hug? Motherfucker. Just, where's my hug? Fuck you, bitch. How about that? Suck my asshole. There's your hug. Fucking. I knew guys like Jupiter, and I fucking hated them then. I fucking hate you bitches now. I hate you worse now, having a child of my own. I read a comment a few weeks ago that said I have anger issues. How could you not? These fucking pedophiles, these chomos, these child abusers. How the fuck do you not have anger issues, bro? Makes me curious about you, why you're not angry. Whatever.
Hugs because it got so bad. But he would want hugs, and he would put his hands where they didn't belong. And
Typical
then
creep.
we would call him out on it, and he'd be like, I'm sorry. Like, kind of like what he's doing now. I've seen a few videos. Kind of like what he's doing now, where, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, then he immediately does it again.
They
That's
all say
very
that shit.
sad to hear that happened to you. Can you walk through, like, that night that you woke up and you found him strapped to a chair?
But what had happened was my mom had just gotten home. She was heading back down the hallway to the bathroom, and she happened to look over at the boys' door, and on the door was a sign that said, don't come in, we are playing naked. Well, she opened the door. Shane had used, I think, their ties to tie him up to the chair and was touching him inappropriately and touching him.
Nobody should have to go through that, especially as a child. Not even Jupiter. It does not give him license to be a fucking monster now, but nobody deserves to go through that as a child. That's awful. Don't come in, we're playing naked.
Himself inappropriately with no clothes on. And so that kind of raised my mother's awareness to what was going on.
That, must have been so traumatizing for you to see. Did that happen only once, or do you think it was happening repeatedly, where Junior, aka Shane, was, touching Corbin, aka Jupiter, inappropriately?
I mean, with as much as it was happening to me, I don't doubt it. And it was really hard to determine when it started, how it started, and how long it had been going on, because the boys shared a room. Corbin was on the top bunk and Junior was on the bottom.
Do you want to share what happened with you and Shane?
I remember the first time it happened to me. I don't know how old I was, but I remember we were outside. We were jumping on the trampoline.
Excuse me.
And the sprinklers were going, so it was summertime. We were in our swimmers. Shane told us, so us being me and Corbin, our swimming suits were dirty and we needed to take them off. I'm like, okay, like my brain is like, okay, let's go inside and do that and come back out with a clean suit on. He's like, no, it's okay, just take them off and leave them here on the trampoline, and the sprinklers will wash them off. And so we did, being kids. Junior took Corbin up into, we had like this treehouse play center. He took him up there. I don't know what they were doing, but I know after a while, Junior came back down and tried to get me to go up in there with them. And
That was my
I
son.
said no and ran away.
When I was ripping that video.
Like
That's what you
a
guys
smart person.
So even as a young child, you knew that something
heard. You heard
was
whispered to me.
probably going on in that treehouse that shouldn't have been. And that's why you ran away.
I know just from recent encounters with my biological family that Junior and my older sisters, when they were younger and living with my biological family, that he would tie them up. And that's probably where that came from.
Your biological father would tie up your siblings just to keep them in one place?
I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that. I
He's
did
a
talk
fucking
to
animal,
my
too.
biological father and explain some of the
Put
things
down.
that Junior did. And my biological father was like, oh, that's probably my fault. I used to tie up your siblings and make them escape from it or something like that. Don't remember all the conversation
What the fuck is
yet.
wrong with her dad?
My biological parents are
Poor
another
kids.
story.
Yeah. And he's the guy that says that claims that you and your siblings are half black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds
He's
great.
He's a little bit of a Fruit Loop.
It runs the family a little bit.
Yes, a little bit. I mean, I've been talking with my biological father, and he does say that a lot of the men, specifically the men in my family, my biological family, are predators.
Let's talk about your breaking point
It's
when
fucking
you decided to leave your
terrifying
family.
for the kids in that
After
family.
my mom died,
House
things
full of
kind of
predators.
just escalated. Just with my entire family. Like, I was under a lot of emotions, not just from my family, but kind of, I felt like I had no purpose, and I felt like my mom's death was my fault. Because I hadn't been doing something right, or she would still be here. It was, survivor's guilt. I mean, I still feel it a little bit now and then. But in regards to what happened with Jupiter, I think I was like 18, 19. We were heading into town because we lived in a small town. There's 2 restaurants and a cafe out there, and that's it. But I wanted to go somewhere for dinner and just kind of feel some form of regularness after my mom died. So we got my 2 sisters and me and Corbin and my dad. We planned to go out to eat for my birthday. And Corbin lived the furthest, so Dad picked him up, brought him to the house, got me and one sister, and then we were off to get my oldest sister. The car broke down because it ran out of gas. My oldest brother came with some gas, and my dad stepped out. My sister and I that were in the car decided to idle ourselves, entertain ourselves while we're being idle. So we started singing songs that we liked, and Corbin didn't like that, so he told us to stop or he'd hurt us. And we didn't. We told Dad, because Dad had opened the door to grab something. We're like, Dad, he's threatening us again. He's like, oh, just ignore him. He doesn't mean anything by it. He doesn't understand what he's saying. He doesn't understand what he's doing.
Guys, anybody out there, if you're in a scary situation, if any of my viewers, if you're younger and a sibling's trying to hurt you, a parent, anybody, reach out and ask for help. It doesn't have to be for me. It just a trusted adult in your life, or just if you're an adult in an abusive relationship, reach out to somebody. Ask for help. There's nothing wrong with it. If I need help, I will stand on top of a mountain and fucking scream it. Asking for help just shows how strong you fucking are. If anybody's in that scenario and somebody threatens you, somebody tells you they want to hurt you, take that shit serious. It's not a fucking joke. Even if they're joking, don't take it like that.
Like, no, Dad. He legit will hurt us. We decided to continue with what we were doing because, that's what our dad told us to do. And Corbin grabbed the seatbelt. I was in the front seat, and he pulled it tight so I couldn't move it, strangling me, basically. And so I took off my shoe and I hit him with it. And he then turned to CR and said that he was going to strangle her next. And I told him if he so much as laid a finger on her, my high-heeled shoe that I had in my hand was going to go into his skull.
Good for you. Good for
gosh.
you.
Was that the first time he ever tried to hurt you?
No, that was the last.
What was the first time?
Corbin was playing with some books on the shelf, and I was showing my mom a song, singing my mom a song while she was in the bathroom, like kids do. Showing her a song and dance I had learned at daycare, and Corbin just comes up and punches me right in the nose.
Oh my gosh.
Blood everywhere. Of course, he gets scolded. My mom cleans us up and talks about using gentle hands. No repercussion for him, no timeout or anything. But the first time he tried to end my life, because that was not the first time he tried to end my life, I think I was like 10, 11, maybe 12. He started ramming my head into the door frame of his bedroom. And then there was a couple of times in between that time and the last time that he attempted. My mom had gone into surgery. She got her knees replaced and was in recovery for it. My task was to make sure that Corbin got into the shower because it had gotten so bad that some kids were making fun of him and making fun of me for having bad hygiene in school. And so Dad challenged us with the task to get Corbin to take a shower. And he refused. And he chased me down and strangled me. I think I was like 16. That would put him at 17. That was probably the first time in quite a few years that Corbin had got punished. But we had all gotten punished by my dad when he got home for it.
You were trying to get him in the shower, right? And he was retaliating. He put his hands around your neck, right?
Yeah.
And could you explain what that felt like at that time?
I kind of this is just gonna be the end. This is it.
You thought that he was finally gonna kill you.
Yeah. I thought that this would be also kind of a relief if he did, because then my mom would have no choice but to send him to prison. I was thinking about my sisters and my brothers and my nieces and nephews. Like, I legit had everybody that I ever knew, everybody that I ever encountered, and I just thought it just wouldn't matter anymore.
You were kind of thinking, I've been the scapegoat for years. I've been the one that, got all the lashings, got all the hate, got all the punishments, and if this was the time that Jupiter was caught doing something bad and he got sent to prison, then losing my life would be worth it, so he wouldn't have the chance to hurt others.
Like, if this is the way I'm gonna go, this is the way I'm gonna go, and I'd be okay with that.
But fortunately, it wasn't, and you're still here, and smiling and breathing and living your best life. I want to kind of shift it a little bit. I don't want to talk about anything deep for our next question. Let's talk about Jupiter's scent. I've always, I know that just looking at him, you can tell that he smells. I want to hear about what his hygiene was like growing up. I've heard a little bit about it from you, but I want you to recap what you told me.
This is so bad. Sorry I'm laughing, but it's just, I don't know why it's funny. I don't even know if it's awkward anymore for me. I remember both of the scents that were both of my brothers growing up. Both of them had very specific scents. Like, you could walk in their room and you could know which brother was in there last. Junior had like the smell, and this is going to be really gross, but it's the smell of sweat and like a musty kind of mildew scent, and the smell of like, if anyone has teenage brothers, I am so sorry, but when they don't clean up their mess from doing what teenage boys do properly, it has a very specific smell.
Yeah.
And so you could definitely tell. But with Corbin specifically, there was those two smells, but also he didn't have good bathroom habits. It would also smell like urine and fecal matter.
Great. Sounds lovely.
We had this chair that he would sit in when we were moving houses. My dad had to throw it away because it smelled like that, and we couldn't get rid of the smell.
So kind of like his dirty brown mattress that he has now.
Kinda, yeah.
If you had to guess what was on that mattress that he has now, what made it brown?